Hey everybody, Steve Clark here with the PropsNetwork.com coming at you with our weekly 100 for this weekend's slate of divisional NFL playoff games. You know how this works. We have $100. We're going to put the money on different games this weekend and try to come out on top. This week we're using the DraftKings Sportsbook, and you can get up to a $500 risk-free bet to match your first deposit if you sign up through the PropsNetwork.com. So let's go ahead and jump into this weekend's games. The first game we're going to talk about here is this Ravens-Titans game. It's at -9.5 right now, which is kind of upsetting because about 5 minutes ago I had it at -9. And I actually do prefer it at -9, so we're going to go into the alternate point spreads here. And we are going to buy half a point back, putting us at -117, not terrible there. And I'm going to throw $40 on this game. Now the Ravens are 9-1 in their last 10 games against the spread, and they're 10-0 straight up. This is a big letdown spot for the Titans in my opinion. They scraped their way into the playoffs, they beat the Patriots last week in Foxborough, so they seem to have some momentum, but they are a bit of a one-trick pony. They give the ball to Derrick Henry over and over and over again. It worked last week, and it very well might work again this week, but I think the Ravens can put enough points on the board to where the Titans have to throw the ball more than they did last week, taking the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands. The next game I like this weekend is the Packers-Seahawks game. You'll see it a lot of places at -4. I want to get it down to that key number of 3, so I'm going to buy a point for the Packers and take the Packers -3 at home. Russell Wilson has a tendency to keep games very close, and I do think the Packers will win, and I'd rather have them at the key number than have them at 4. The Seahawks barely got past a banged-up Eagles team last week who had Josh McCown as their starting quarterback for almost the entire game. I think the Seahawks are a little bit overrated coming into this game. I know a lot of people say the same thing about the Packers, but to me the Packers seem like a much more complete team than the Seahawks right now. Last year, all 4 home teams won in the Divisional Round off the bye, and I don't think it'll be much different this year. Give me the Packers -3, buying that extra point against the Seahawks. I'll put $30 on this game, bringing the total potential payout to $126 so far. And for our last bet, we're gonna tease the remaining 2 games that we haven't bet on yet. If you're not really in love with the spreads in some of these games, teasing is a really good way to get that number more where you want it. It is a little riskier because you need 2 teams to hit instead of just 1. But in this case, I'm going to tease the remaining 2 games. We'll start with this Texans-Chiefs game. The Texans honestly don't deserve to be here. If it wasn't for the Bills completely imploding last week, the Texans would have lost. I'm taking the Chiefs, and I know that the Texans beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but you can't bet against Andy Reid off a bye week. In his career, he's 18-3 in the regular season coming off a bye, and 4-1 in these divisional games after having a bye in the first round. And the other game we're going to tease is this 49ers-Vikings game. Kirk Cousins' indoor versus outdoor splits are pretty interesting. He goes from a 75% completion percentage indoors to a 64% outdoors. His passer rating goes from 120.3 indoors to 95.1 outdoors. And yeah, he did look pretty good last week against the Saints in that upset win. But again, that was indoors. This week they're going to San Francisco in an outdoor game. With the Vikings only getting 5 days rest, I'll gladly take the 49ers here and essentially a pick 'em once I tease the 6.5 points. I'll put $30 on this teaser, bringing the total potential payout between all the picks to around $178. That's it for this week's weekly 100. If you want to follow these picks or fade these picks, go to the PropsNetwork.com, click where to bet, and select DraftKings for a risk-free bet of up to $500 with your first deposit.